Hello and welcome to Amethyst Style Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at the lovely new masks, plenty of Patterns Decorative Masks, which are available in the new annual catalogue. And they have some brilliant patterns. We worked the other week with this one and made 4 separate cards with that because that's such a beautiful pattern on there. We've also got these ones which are great for just sort of backgrounds. So little sort of flowers, water lilies, that sort of thing. And then a nice sort of scalloped one, which again just makes beautiful backgrounds. And today I thought we would work with this absolutely lovely one, which is, it's a real sort of hexagonal type pattern. Now you'll notice on the masks you have a right side and a wrong side. So one side, I hope you can see, is very shiny and the other side is more matte and flat. You want the flat side to go onto the card and you want this slightly shiny part. That's the part that we're going to colour in. So I've cut myself a piece of 6x6 basic white because it means that it will stick perfectly on there. Now you can tape it down. I don't because I just put my hand on it. But if you want to, you can tape it down. They are quite small sides. That's why I've put it onto the 6x6 because then I know it fits perfectly. Now we are using lots of colours. So I've got a Pacific Point, I've got a Daffodil Delight, I've got a Coastal Cabana, I've got a Calypso Coral. I've got a Pale Papaya, I've got a Granny Apple Green, I've got a Fresh Freesia, a Polished Pink and a Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to work with those colours. I don't know whether we're going to use all of them, but the more colours you use, the better it actually comes out. And you are we're going to do the whole of it together. So I've got a whole selection of sponge daubers. As I've said to you before, I tend to use my sponge daubers again and again. So we're going to start with, let's start with a Granny Apple Green. Really doesn't matter what colour you start with, but you are going to take, let me get my sponge dauber out for that one. You're going to make sure that it is as square as you can get it. So just sort of put it on there. And then what I tend to do is I rest my finger in the centre and then just starts as me sliding it straight away. Finger in the centre, and I'm just going to start sponging through one area. Now, if it goes outside, that really doesn't matter. So you can see it going outside, but that is actually going to create the pattern because the blending through really works. So all I'm doing is I'm just going on to different sections all the way through and just sort of working out where I want to do it. So you can have as many or as a few of each colour, it really doesn't matter. And I'm doing this quite quickly, but again you'll be able to see that it doesn't matter whether you do it quickly or you do it you take your time. If you take your time you won't get as many sort of little blobs, but again, to be quite honest, it doesn't matter hugely. Okay, so that's going to be our Granny Apple Green. Now, because it's a warm day, as I take my finger off, I'm just making sure that it doesn't move right. It has moved, but you can line it up, as you can see, relatively easily. It's a very, very, very humid day here today. We've had some absolutely lovely weather and it's getting hotter and hotter. So this one is Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to take that one and again just sort of line it up again where I want it, and I'm going to start down at the bottom on this one, I think. So let's have this this big square up here. And as I say, you don't have to be overly precise with it. You just want to get coverage right the way through and into the corners. I'm going to have another one up here, I think. But you can see I'm going over the edges, and that's on purpose. So, don't worry about that because it does actually look really good when it comes in onto the edges. So Need to have some over on this side, so we'll have this big one, which is a purple one. You have to excuse the squeak, it sounds a bit like a little mouse. My sponge daubers make a bit of a squeaky noise sometimes. Okay, so that's that one. And again, if it slides off, I'm not overly worried, and I've done a little less on those. Okay, let's have, this is Coastal Cabana, so that's going to give me an orange. And I found that for doing these sorts of cards, the more colours you use, the better it actually turns out. So let's just take this one and let's have this orange right the way down on here. And we'll have one up on here. Again, very random. You know, I'm not spending a lot of time in thinking about where I'm going to do my colours. And as I say, when it spreads across, it actually, when it's finished, will make the card look even better. So you'll just have to trust me on this. But when we get to the bottom of it, should we have one in? Let's have that one. And take it up. Whoops, it's sliding across again. But it does match up really quite quickly. As I say, it's a very humid day, so my hands are quite sticky. And as I say, if you want to stick it down, you can do. I'm not overly fussed because I find that I can do it, particularly for this, a little bit quicker. Okay, so that's the Coastal Cabana. Now we're going to do, let's do a yellow. So I've got Daffodil Delight here, and let me take my Daffodil Delight one, make sure that I've got that lined up again, put it down on here, and I'm going to take that up in here. That's quite a nice bright yellow. Have another one up in on here. One down in on here, one down in on here, put another one in on here. I quite like the yellow, so I'm doing a little bit more of that one because that sort of brightens it up a bit. And then I've got some bits down here in this corner, so let's just have this one. Okay, so that's that one. So that's the Daffodil Delight. Then let's take, we've got some lovely blues. Let's take Coastal Cabana because I like Coastal Cabana. That's a nice bright blue colour. So that stayed relatively straight. Let's put that in on there. Hold it down again. I'm going to have this great big one here. That one, we'll have one up on here. As I say, I really like using a multitude of colours because it makes it look very sort of stained glass. Now you can see on here, or I hope you can, that the purple has gone across, but it means that you can blend it through, so you get this sort of combination of purple and this one's blue and orange and various other colours coming through, which is really rather nice. And I'm just holding this here because I'm going to have one down on this piece. And as I say, it really doesn't matter what colours you do, and you know, don't be overly precise with it all. Now we're going to have any more blue in there. I might just do the blue up in that corner as well. So you can see on here I've got purple coming through and I've also got the greens, but when you put the other colour in over the top, it will give a blended look, and when it's all finished, that blended look actually makes it look really rather good. So that's the Coastal Cabana. Then we've got Pacific Point. So let's get the Pacific Point out, which is a brighter blue. That I think is my Pacific Point, and let's make sure that I've got it relatively straight. Yep, that'll do. So we'll have Pacific Point up and on here. We'll have one up on here. We'll have one down on here. We'll have one in the middle. And as you can see, I'm doing it, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm just doing it fairly sort of randomly, right the way across. We'll have this little one in the blue, I think. It'll work. And then we'll have one up over on this corner. Let's have that one. Might even have the big one down in this corner as well. Okay, so that's coming through the blues. And you can see now it's starting to blend through really nicely. So those are the blues. Okay, now we've got the polished pink, which again is a lovely, bright, vibrant pink. So let me get my sponge dauber on for that one. And we'll have, sliding it about again. But as I say, it doesn't matter hugely. So that's a really nice pink. So that's quite bright. One in there, one down on there. And as I say, you can see it going over the edge, but that really doesn't matter because it really sort of adds to the look. We'll have this one with the pink. That's quite nice, coming through with the pink and the purple and the yellow in on there. Little one down on that bottom, mixed with that purple. That looks nice. Little one up here. We'll have one up in the corner here, I think. And have we got anything down on this corner? No, we haven't. We'll have this one down on this corner, I think. Let's just tilt that a little bit. Get it closer. I'll take this one in. So excuse my arm, you probably can't see this bit, and you can see that there's a little bit of the purple that's actually gone into this polished pink in that part, but that doesn't matter either because that sort of just adds to the tonal bits we're trying to get. Okay, now we're going to take the Fresh Freesia. Oh, it's a stiffer one to open. And let me take that one for the Fresh Freesia, which is going to make it just a little bit lighter, which is quite nice. So again, we're running out of spaces here, but that's quite good. It means that we've got other little ones to just fill in. And as long as they don't, they're not next to each other, it works really quite well. So have this one in on here. We'll have that one that can come as a Fresh Freesia, just up in on there. We're going to take this one, try and get my finger in on here. That one can be a Fresh Freesia. This one can be a Fresh Freesia. And we'll have this one in on, whoops, here as a Fresh Freesia. So it's a different shade of that purple. Okay, so we've now only got a couple of squares left, which is going to be in the Pale Papaya. So let's get that one out. And you will find, depending on your colours, it will turn out slightly differently each time, but you know, the more colours you use, the nicer it turns out. So last one on here, that's the Pale Papaya, which is quite a nice peachy colour. Little one in on here, and we've got this big long one down on here. Okay, that's all of them. So let's just take that on there. Right, so once you've filled them all in, if you then take this off, you'll be able to see just how beautiful that is. Now, if you look at it closely, you can see that you've got, where you've got the colours sort of blended across, you get the tones coming through. And I think that that looks really rather lovely. Then what we can do is we can cut it up. So if you want to make, you can make up to 6 cards with this piece. And if you want to trim it down, you can. I haven't, because I quite like the pieces sort of coming over and it being quite random. But what you would do is you would cut it straight in half at 3 inches. And then each one of those pieces is at 2 inches. And by the magic of television, I've already done that bit first, because I thought that you probably wouldn't want to see all of that. And I've put it somewhere safe, and I need to find out where I've put it. So bear with me 1 second, because I've put it all very carefully so I could show you them all. And talk amongst yourselves and bear with, because I've put them so that you could see them all finished, and I can't think where I've put them. How frustrating. Did I put them away? No. I will have them in a minute. You know what it's like when you're in the middle of trying to do something and you turn around and go like, well, I've got all of these on here and I can't remember what I did with them. Anyway, what I did was I mounted each one of them, and because I've got them on white card, have I stuck them in? I've probably stuck them in here, haven't I? I'm going to take this out and have a look. These are where I keep all my pieces and things, so I can't remember whether I put them on here or not. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. How frustrating. Doesn't it annoy you when you've put something carefully to one side to show everybody, and then you can't for the life of you think where you have put it? And my desk isn't that big, so it shouldn't have gone too far, but it seems to have disappeared. So you're going to have to wait and see it on the front screen, because as soon as I finish this video it will appear. But anyway, you take this, you cut it in half at 3 inches, and then you cut each one of these pieces at 2 inches. Then what you're going to do is you are going to mount each one of those pieces. So they are 3 inches by 2 inches, and you'll do a mat of 3¼ inches by 2¼ inches. And then you can put it onto a piece of Whisper White. It's frustrating me that I've put them somewhere so careful that I can't remember where I've put them. And, oh, here we go. I knew I'd put them somewhere. Right. So rather than me having to explain it all. So you cut, as I say, cut it in half at 3 inches, and then cut each piece at 2 inches. So you get 6 pieces. And then what I've done is I'm just going to put it onto a piece of Whisper White, and then I would mat it. I would do my card in exactly the same colour. So I've just done 2 like this. So I've done 2 in the blue, and if I put those in the centre and then just take a sentiment, which I've taken from the Give It a Whirl. No, I haven't. The Colour and Contour dies, the little one with the stitching round, which I think is lovely. And just map them in different colours. So this one I've just picked up the Gorgeous Grape. This one I picked up the blue. And I've put You Are So Loved on that one. This is from the Bamboo one. I'll put the link down below. And then I've got one here which is in the Pale Papaya. So let's take the blue out of the way, and then I can just show you that. And you can put them down like this. And this has got the border, so I could actually turn it round and have them so that the border's on the side. Put your sentiment across the centre. Very simple and pretty cards, but they do look lovely. If you didn't want to do, you could actually make 6 cards. So if you turn around and just take one of them and put that straight in the centre, like that, and then put your sentiment either right the way across if you wanted to cover it up, or you could slide it up and put your sentiment down at the bottom. And again, mount that in the same colour as you've cut your little mountain, and you've then got 6 cards. So from one of these sheets, which, as I say, I just love the psychedelic look of this. You know, you've got all of these different colours going on, and they're not exactly the same. You've got the other colours coming through, which I really like that look. You can get yourself 6 cards or 3 cards, depending how many pieces you use. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well, and please be kind. Bye-bye.